Most people think Assassin's Creed is just a historical action-adventure series. But what if I told you it's actually hiding something much darker? Because with every game and every era, we've explored what's behind the memories. But there's always been a touch of horror lurking in the shadows. Moments that sent chills down our spines. It made us question what really hides in the world of the assassins. So this Halloween, folks, we're diving into what we think are the scariest things ever hidden in the Assassin's Creed franchise. And after this, you might never see Assassin's Creed the same way again. Although it's never directly mentioned or even shown in the game, but the city of Acre hides some of the most darkest moments in Assassin's Creed. And no, we're not talking about the crazy doctor that we even mentioned in our previous videos. As we all know, the game takes place during the Third Crusade, around the year 1191. And during that time, something disturbing happened there. Before the Crusaders even arrived, the city was under the control of Salahuddin and his forces. But after countless sieges led by King Philip II of France and then later joined by King Richard the Lionheart of England, who even appears in the game, the city eventually fell, and it resulted in Salahuddin surrendering. Following this, Salahuddin negotiated a deal with him to free the captured prisoners and return the true cross. But when he delayed fulfilling his promise, Richard lost patience. Enraged, he ordered the execution of about 2,700 Muslim prisoners. And according to the Assassin's Creed lore, Richard even planned to poison Acre's water supply. But Altair intervened just in time to prevent the massacre from going even further. Still, the prisoners were executed, and that's why the poor district of Acre looks so grim and broken in the game. Its patients were once prisoners of war. And here comes the most haunting part. This wasn't just fiction. It actually happened in real life. Except for the poisoning part. For a game that's mostly lighthearted and action-focused, Assassin's Creed sure knows how to slip in some genuinely creepy stuff. Take the glyph puzzles for example. Every time you find one in the game, there's this strange, eerie energy to it, the kind of uneasiness that's been missing from the more modern titles. And each glyph you solve reveals pieces of a hidden story fragment about the subject who was in the Animus before Desmond, and his experience was straight up disturbing. He'd completely lost his mind carving symbols and messages on the walls of his room using his own blood. And that's some nasty stuff. But through these puzzles, we uncover more about the deep and secret side of Assassin's Creed lore. And honestly, the fact that things like this exist in the background of the story is creepy enough on its own. Moving on from the truth puzzles in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the assassin tombs were replaced with something new, the Scrolls of Romulus side quests. This time, however, Ezio explores eerie underground temples and forgotten ruins to recover the Scrolls of Romulus. And every one of them is guarded by his fanatical followers. While most of these missions have a creepy undertone, there's one particular that stands out. That mission is unsettling every single time. The atmosphere is heavy, dark, and suffocating. As you move deeper into the underground, you can spot shadows of cultists that are lurking ahead and waiting for the right moment to ambush you. And honestly, the first time that we played it, we were genuinely scared. Assassin's Creed Revelations doesn't feature as many frightening moments as some of the other games, but it does still has a side mission that gives off genuinely creepy vibes. And it's the one where you obtain Vlad the Impaler's sword. The entire dungeon itself is located on the outskirts of the city, and right from the start it feels unsettling. The place itself is one massive puzzle, dark, claustrophobic, and barely lit. And you're constantly second-guessing your path, and the traps scattered throughout only make the atmosphere more tense. But as soon as you move deeper, you begin to notice skulls and corpses lining the walls, a grim reminder of who this place once belonged to. Then finally, when you enter Vlad's tomb, you're met with a chilling sight. A skull with large fang-like teeth staring right back at you. And then, you claim the sword. And let me tell you, it's unlike any other weapon in the game, because it unlocks brutal and almost feral animations for Ezio that he normally never performs. It's as if the weapon carries something within it, something that subtly changes Ezio himself. Now we're getting into the real stuff. Enough of Abstergo Labs and cursed swords, let's talk about some truly mythic horror. As you all know, the American frontier in Assassin's Creed 3 is easily one of the most mysterious and downright creepy places in the entire series. During one of the frontiersmen missions, you're sent to investigate strange reports. People found dead, their heads missing, and the whispers of a headless figure riding through the woods on a horse. At first, it's like the other frontiersman tales. You assume it's just another legend, something exaggerated by the locals. But when you arrive at the scene yourself, it quickly becomes clear. This is no ordinary story. The area is littered with decapitated bodies, and before long, you see him. A terrifying figure riding a horse with a pumpkin on his head. It's the Headless Horseman, straight out of the American folklore. No one knows for sure whether it was an illusion caused by a piece of Eden or something far older and darker. But whatever it was, it left us with chills. With the release of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, sea exploration became one of the franchise's biggest highlights. And along with it came some underwater shipwrecks, where players could dive deep beneath the waves to collect resources, treasures, and blueprints to upgrade the Jackdaw. But not every wreck was just about loot. In one of these eerie underwater sites, Edward can actually swim into the captain's cabin of a sunken ship. And if you stay there long enough, you'll witness something truly unsettling. A giant squid emerging from the depths, wrapping its tentacles around its prey before vanishing. It's not that terrifying, but for a lone diver in the 1700s who's also surrounded by silence and shadow and then suddenly seeing that, it's a kind that would make even Kenway hold his breath a little longer. In Assassin's Creed Rogue, the legend first teased in Assassin's Creed 3 gets a far more faithful and haunting adaptation. One of the game's locations is actually known as the Sleepy Hollow, and you might have guessed it already, it's tied to none other than the Headless Horseman himself. If you synchronize a nearby viewpoint, specifically the church tower, and then head behind it, you will find a grave marked with a pumpkin. Now here's where it gets interesting. If you view this spot at night and linger for a while, the Headless Horseman will appear before you. He'll try to attack you, and no matter how hard you fight back, you cannot kill him. He's completely immortal unless you strike at the pumpkin on the grave. And even then, the next time you return, he'll rise again. A simple side detail, yet one of the most creepiest and most atmospheric Easter eggs in the entire series. Assassin's Creed Unity on its own might not have as many scary moments, but its DLC, Dead Kings, definitely changes that. In this expansion, Arno spends a lot of time exploring the basilica filled with tombs, crypts, and endless underground tunnels. The entire DLC is soaked in a haunting atmosphere where even the most ordinary moments feel unsettling. While navigating these dungeons, Arno occasionally encounters Isu holograms that appear suddenly. Their timing is completely unexpected, and honestly, even the most fearless players can get caught off guard. And if you're playing this at night with your headphones on, then good luck with keeping your composure. Just like Unity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate doesn't seem all that frightening at first sight, aside from a few missions that balance horror and humor pretty well. But things take a dark turn in its DLC, Jack the Ripper. The entire expansion feels like one long disturbing fever dream. You play as both Evie Fry and Jack the Ripper, giving you a chilling look at two sides of the same coin. But when you're in Jack's shoes, everything changes. He's not just a killer, he's a monster. The way he stalks, tortures, and murders his victim is traumatizing. And when you switch to Evie and start hunting him, it feels straight out of a horror movie. Dark fog, silence, and Jack's haunting voice echoing throughout London. Because of his tone, his presence, and his sheer brutality, Jack the Ripper stands out as one of the most terrifying figures in all of Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Origins has plenty of moments that lean into pure horror, but the desert mirages easily stand out as the most haunting ones, especially if you're playing the game at night. Unlike scripted moments that happen the same way for everyone, these mirages are different for each player. They appear randomly when you're traveling under the scorching Egyptian sun, or perhaps under something much stranger. One moment, a woman quietly appears beside you on your horse, and when you turn to look again, she is gone. Another time, a man you see in the distance suddenly transforms into a snake and then disappears. You might even witness insects raining from the sky or hear whispers calling your name from nowhere. Each encounter is unpredictable. They're surreal and deeply unsettling. And that's exactly what makes the Mirages one of Origin's most unique and spine-chilling features. Assassin's Creed Odyssey leans more into emotion and mythology, blending the mysteries of the first civilization with the legends of ancient Greece. And we're talking about the mythological creatures, but we're not gonna judge them based on their appearance, but their origin. It's truly terrifying. In the Fate of Atlantis DLC, it is revealed that the creatures that Cassandra faced, including Medusa, the Minotaur, the Cyclops, and many others, were not just myths, but were humans, and they were victims victims of twisted Isu experimentation that transformed them into monsters. This also explains that after Cassandra defeats them and retrieves the artifact, they revert back to their human form, which is a horrifying reminder of what they once used to be. So yes, these creatures were real, but their reality is far darker than any legend. You can say whatever you want about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but one thing that you cannot deny is its atmosphere. It's hauntingly beautiful, especially when it comes to the curse activities. Unlike the older games that used question marks and random events, Valhalla divided its world into categories, and honestly that was a great change. One of the most memorable ones was breaking curses. These involved finding mysterious skull totems hidden in remote, unsettling places across the medieval England. But as you approached them, the tone would shift. Whispers start echoing around you, your screen distorts, and Eivor begins to stumble, as if something unseen is clawing her mind. It might not sound terrifying at first, but the fact that you encounter these curses so frequently and never quite know what's waiting at each side makes it the scariest and the most immersive moments in Valhalla. Mirage promised a true return to the series' roots, and it delivered. Not just in gameplay, parkour, and stealth, but surprisingly in horror too. Far off on the edge of the map, there's a ruined structure that you can visit, and it hides something truly amazing. Inside, you can find scattered notes written by someone descending into madness. The writer speaks of strange energies surrounding the area, energies that are tied to an ancient book known as Kitab al-Azif, or most preferably, the Book of the Dead. According to the notes, this cursed book drove the man completely insane. But if you dare to find it yourself, things get even stranger. Upon discovery, an energy field surrounds you, and you're rewarded with a monstrous octopus-like talisman, pretty much resembling the Cthulhu monster. It's a small moment, but one of the most creepiest and most mysterious encounters in Mirage. Shadows takes a different approach compared to the other titles. Instead of relying only on mythical encounters or straight-up horror stuff, it has a dedicated questline, the Yokai. In this quest, Now is tasked with investigating mysterious disturbances caused by terrifying creatures. But at first, it seems like a classic trick. All of them turn out to be humans, pretending to be monsters. After killing, sparing, or confronting some of these imposters, Naue rescues a young girl and returns to the person who gave her the quest in the first place, only for everything to take a shocking 180. The twist? The girl Naue saved is actually one of the mythical creatures she was hunting. She reveals herself to be a true yokai and tries to kill Naue, and killing her is the only option left. The game never truly explains whether this was connected to the Isu or some kind of animus glitch, which leaves the nature of the yokai ambiguous and mysterious. And that marks the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed watching this. We'll see you in the next one. Till then, goodbye.